I get very excited when I listen to DIMASH, as I'm sure all of you do as well. Hello, lovely humans of the internet. I'm coming at you from my slightly dim, cozy music studio. I just got done teaching a bunch of voice lessons and was getting a little overstimulated. Sorry that the lighting is a little different than usual. The lower light is helping me sensorily a lot. I'm a little bit on the neurospicy side with that. It has been a while since I have done a DIMASH reaction, but I'm a huge fan of him. I actually have done 4 reaction videos on DIMASH. They are all still available and up and running on the channel, and they all have 1000% interesting discourse in the comments. All of the DIMASH fans have really contributed to making the conversations about this artist on the CECILIA Music YouTube channel so fantastic. So read those comment sections if you want some fun facts about him, as I'm continuing to get introduced to this incredible man as an artist, and some of my insights as a voice instructor and a longtime professional musician are also in the video for your enjoyment as well. I myself actually recently came out with an EP that is titled Empire. The title track from the song is an empowering anthem that I wrote at a low point in my life, but all 5 of the songs explore different themes of love, self-love, love of a partner, love of a loved one, all those great things, and really big explosive feelings that I have felt throughout my 20s. So it is very special. It draws from a lot of different musical styles, everything from pop to country to soul to a little bit of rock to early 2000s Justin Timberlake like pop in one of the dance songs, all the way to powerhouse pop or powerhouse anthem like music, like in its title song, which has a particularly special place in my heart. So the lyric videos for my songs that were professionally produced here in Portland, Oregon at Black Diamond Studios with Tiger X, who is a Grammy award-winning producer extraordinaire and absolutely fantastic, are available on the CECILIA Music YouTube channel. And then you can also stream me under the stage name Cecilia. Search me up in all caps on Spotify. I'm trying to get my first 1,000 streams by the end of 2024. So it would mean so much to me if you considered streaming on Spotify and giving my EP a listen. Let's get into this video. We are reacting today to DIMASH singing All By Myself at the World's Best competition in 2019. There's also some tea surrounding this competition that I was finding out about in the comments. So I'm not 100% sure if I can confirm that this is factual stuff that happened, but I'm hoping we can maybe start a comment section discussion about it, or you guys can help me fact check and confirm this information, because it's very, very interesting and a testament to his character if it is true.
Never needed anyone, and making love was just for fun. Those days ago, being awful alone, I think of all the friends I know, but when I die telephone, nobody's home.
We just had the major vocal transition happen between the lower impact singing and the higher impact singing. As a result of it, we also had a timbre change. So if you notice, he went into a little bit more of his operatic training and technique in the upper register. It's just gorgeous raw talent, and he's obviously a very skilled vocalist. Those rounded vowels are going to help accommodate for more space so that he can resonate more freely in that upper register. Versus the lower register, he has this beautiful soft tone that kind of comes in, where he's obviously very, very intentional about creating a mood from the very beginning. Not only a mood of intimacy and inviting the audience in and understanding, capturing this feeling of this song, but also really deeply understanding that when you're a performer, you really want to lean into contrasts. So we want to have a really soft, beautiful, intimate beginning to a song so we don't put all of our eggs in our basket so quickly. And then all of a sudden we get to the first climactic moment and it's this like, beautiful artistic release. And DIMASH and artists like this are just so masterful at doing it with big, big powerhouse pieces. Also, huge props to the beautiful cultural instrumentation that came in at the very beginning. I absolutely love how much he makes covers of classic songs like this so much his own. He is an artist. He is not just somebody covering music. He's not just somebody that can sing the notes really well. He's infusing artistry into literally every single word he sings. I talk about this in my studio as spill your guts artistry with my students. Have something to say. Always have something to say as an artist, and he always does. He sings everything as if he is on a mission to tell his message to the public, tell the message of the song to the public. He's on a mission to create an experience for his audience members. He's not just there to sound good, and he does sound good, but he's so much more than that. And so I think it's important with powerhouse singers like this to have a conversation about the artistry, because oftentimes people are just wowed by the sound, but it's actually the meaning that is infused inside the sound. And the quality of the sound itself being so high, that combination of those two things is what is most impressive to me. Notice he went into a little bit of an A shape. Anymore, that kind of a vowel is really hard to sing in that upper register. So he is a master at vowel modification, which is a vocal concept where basically you infuse a little bit of one vowel into another vowel to make the vowel that you have to sing in any given word a little more optimal for the part of your range that you're singing in, a little bit more efficiently done. He's able to do this really beautifully with an A vowel in the extreme upper register of his voice. He's not afraid to kind of genre flip a little bit. And so he goes from kind of more of those operatic rounded vowels in his upper middle to the extreme high that has more of the ah and a little bit more of a rock sound to it, which totally matches the genre of the song, keeps him a little bit more loyal actually to the genre of the song than it would be if he went operatic all the way to the top. But it also allows for a little bit more precision of his pitch. So he's like expertly navigating every single stage of entering his register. And that's why he can get through songs like this without being too fatigued at the end. He obviously puts a lot into his performances, but he never does it in a way that seems inherently damaging to his voice. He's always thinking about the health of his instrument as he's singing as well. That was a very, very impressive second register change that just happened. Back up to the extreme high again with this beautiful upper register that sounds kind of akin to an operatic soprano with the rounded vowels, because he's experimenting with different parts of his range and different vowel shapes optimize his efficiency in different parts of his range. Up here, there's actually going to be a bit of a rapid pressure shift in his voice. There's going to be a release of pressure up there. So those notes probably actually feel really good for him. I definitely have a different voice type. As a treble voice type myself, when I go up into the more extreme high, it actually feels a little bit inherently easier. It's the upper middle register that is tricky to navigate. So he used a lot of different vowel shapes to navigate that effectively, as well as deep breathing and really passionate performance. But then when he got into the extreme high, that probably felt really soothing to him in a way, because when you're up in that extreme register, there's kind of like this pressure release that has to happen in order for it to feel fluid and as flexible as he's demonstrating it is in this video. Because he's such a skillful vocalist, it's probably not as much effort for him to sing up there as he's leading on in his performance, but he wants that drama and that theatricality and that feeling and emotion to come through. So he's such an expert at navigating his voice that this is a very attainable thing for him to perform live. So the singing itself is probably not producing all those bodily movements, but the passion behind the words and the passion behind what he's doing is. And the beautiful like energy feeding thing that he does with an audience, where he feeds off of the audience's energy and he's able to infuse that into his performance as well. There's a lot to be said. I could do a whole video about the performer to audience relationship in live shows like this, but the audience plays a role in giving the performer energy and endurance to pull off songs like this too. There's something to be said about that emotional relationship at its heightened state and the adrenaline that comes with it. There was so much passion in that. So many beautiful things that he does in just one performance, and he's really not afraid to go there. I said this in an Aurora video at one point. The performers that end up resonating the most with us are not necessarily the performers that do everything perfectly technically accurate, even though he has a very technically efficient voice. There's a reason he can do all of the things that he does. So I'm not saying that he's not technically efficient. I'm just saying that the most effective performers to us are the performers that are willing to commit to the things that we might be a little inherently afraid of doing ourselves if we were put into this position on stage. And not just because we may not feel like we're as good of singers as him. I'm actually talking about like just feeling emotion. And even if this song were just an acting monologue, a lot of us would have a lot of inhibitions in our heads that would prevent us from making a quote unquote unsafe choice, which is basically a choice that could at any point enact a fear response that we're acting too big, that we're feeling too much, that our emotions are out of bounds of how we would normally express emotions in a societal context, of what we deem as societally appropriate. Artists are supposed to push the boundaries of that. And that's something that artists like DIMASH, artists like Aurora, artists like Angelina Jordan, these people that I react to and talk about so much on the channel, that's the reason they have such dedicated fan bases. And that's the reason why people are so passionate about their performances. It's because they're willing to commit to expressing the extremity of emotion that a lot of us feel in our hearts, but are ultimately afraid to express in real life. Big feelings, especially in Western society and Western culture, tend to be frowned upon. They tend to make us think that people are weird or that they're unpredictable. We like to put people in boxes in terms of their emotions. And artists like this can kind of help us have an outlet for taking us into an otherworldly place where we are not focused so much on what other people think of us. We're not focused so much on being afraid of perceptions of the emotions that we feel. We just get to feel them. We get to feel them with this artist and through this artist. It's a moment where those big feelings are exalted through that artist and they're not shamed. And I think the best, most effective artists are the artists that are not afraid to go there. There was like a special amount of emotion in this particular piece, and I'm wondering if there's truth to this tea that I'm about to talk about in the comments section a little bit that might be contributing to this. The top commenter is actually a really, really cute username, SmudgeMouse, @SmudgeMouse. And they commented this 2 years ago. So if you happen to come across this video, credit to you. I haven't confirmed this or fact checked this information. This is just something that a commenter put underneath the video, but it got 184 likes. But this is what the comment says. He continued with his performance and sang that song just like that immediately after he'd been denigrated by those same judges for wanting to withdraw from the competition because, as he said, in his country, the adults encourage and help teach children. They do not compete against them. He said he'd asked the question, will I be competing against children, before he signed the contract for this competition. He didn't say any more. That statement was just left hanging and none of the judges replied. It was obvious to everyone in the studio that he had been deliberately lied to get him on the show. Then one of the judges actually accused him of being afraid of the talent of the kids in the competition and intimated insinuated, I think is what they mean, that he was leaving because he couldn't win. An absolutely shameful accusation. So basically, this commenter is claiming that the judges were putting him in a situation where they were kind of shaming him, saying, oh, you're just jealous of the kids and you're mad that you're not going to win the competition next to some kids, so you're leaving because of your ego and not because of your principles, which is a shameful accusation and totally a manipulation tactic I could see people in these situations, producers for these type of shows using. The live audience were still there waiting for his song. He didn't let them down. He sang his heart out and there was a standing ovation from the audience. This was cut from the show. Then he left the competition. He did not speak about it in public, and it just shows what an honorable, dignified, and upright man he is. So he decided to go forward with the performance because it was highly anticipated and he didn't want to let down his audience, which is a very noble thing to do, even though he was angry, obviously angry about the situation. And then he left because he did not want to take part in competing against children. My first impression of this was like not even remotely surprised, because some of these reality singing television shows, no matter how much of a positive picture they want to paint about themselves, especially ones with random celebrities, especially B celebrities, as I am seeing on the show, this kind of competition dynamic is honestly, in many ways, more about the celebrities and the guests that they can get on the show that they know are going to be a viewer draw than the actual contestants. So he was probably, signed onto a contract to be a part of the show because they knew he's a draw for competitions like this. They want to see people like this that are absolutely incredible vocalists. He has a huge following on YouTube. He's popular. But then he also noticed that there were children that were a part of this, and that there was kind of this like ulterior motive or ulterior thing going on behind the scenes, and he was against it, and on principle he left. You do not see a lot of artists get put in these situations and actually be willing to leave, actually be willing to stand up for the principles that they claim to advocate for. So if this situation is true, he is the kind of role model that I wish more young men, especially in our society, had these days. And I can get into a whole entire sociological rant. There's a lack of like really, really noble, wonderful, dignified musician role models in that industry. Especially people that are getting as much of a following as DIMASH has gotten over the years. And the fact that he is standing up for his own integrity, that means he might not ever get into a massive mainstream place, especially in Western society, that he deserves to get into, but he will always be critically acclaimed, and his fans will always know that they can trust him. They can trust his integrity. They can trust that he is a person of honor. They can trust that he is not hypocritical in his actions, and that who he is as an artist actually reflects who he is as a human being, who he claims to be on the stage. So I could tell there was maybe like an undertone of frustration in this performance that further motivated his vocals. Like he's able to channel that very well, but I could tell that there was a moment of like fight in him, and he showed up, he did his job, he didn't let his audience down, and then he stuck to his principles and left. That impresses me so much, because when you're under pressure like that from very influential people in this industry, people that could ruin your reputation if they wanted to, people that it sounds like we're already trying to manipulate him and ruin his reputation, when he chooses to stand up for himself and still walk away, that is a bold move. That is a risky move. And it is a move that I think more artists should do to make sure that there is an especially high standard in how we treat our industry's kids. I have a big issue with kids being in the music industry in general. I know there's some very, very talented kids out there. I'm not saying that child artistry should not exist. I'm just saying that we need to have a lot of checks and balances in place for how we treat kids in the industry internationally. But I speak mostly for the United States industry, which is a titan in the music world and is responsible for a lot of mistreatment of kids. We just had a Nickelodeon documentary come out about that, which was disgusting. So the fact that he is such an advocate for them and he doesn't believe that he should be competing against them, that instead he should be nurturing them, is just a testimony to just how big of fans we are and how wonderful of a role model he is. Let me know if you know anything about this situation in the comment section. This was a very interesting video to watch with that little tidbit. As usual, please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to hear more from the Cecilia Music YouTube channel. Sound off in the comment section. Please keep it a respectful, positive environment, but I would love to hear your insights and thoughts on this particular performance and the dynamics surrounding it. And if you have the chance, please stream my my EP Empire and watch the Empire lyric videos, also available on Spotify, all popular streaming sites, and the channel. Help us get to our first 1,000 streams. Thank you so, so much. I love you all, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.